Hey everyone, my name is Michelle from the YouTube Pantograph and welcome to my channel. This is my first video and on this channel we're going to be talking about fragrances. And if you're coming from Instagram and you follow me on there, you might see I have a few followers on YouTube. I actually used to make videos before in the past focused around like skincare and beauty. This was like 6 years ago maybe. So those subscribers stayed for whatever reason, which is great. They're probably not going to like this content, but you know what, we're going to talk about fragrances. And I decided that my first video should be my favorite purchases of 2020. And I had a lot. I think I had around 10, but I really wanted to challenge myself to only put out 5. So I have 5 on this list and let's get started. So the first one I'm going to talk about is from a house that I discovered this year. This just kind of came out of nowhere. I placed an order from a small little shop in Los Angeles called Inferi Club, and it was actually my first order of Francesca Bianchi, and the first thing I ordered from them was Sex and the Sea. With that order they included some samples, and one of them was this. When I smelled this, I was like, what exactly is this? Because I want it. So I placed an order for it. The perfume I'm talking about is called Mistpouffer by the house of Stora Skuggan. And this is a Swedish house. They've been around since 2015, I believe. And I don't remember, but I think their first perfume is called Moon Milk, and it's a sandalwood perfume. Every single thing I've tried from this house has been really great. And Mistpouffer was one that took them 4 years to create, because it was the reason behind the creation was very hard to replicate, which makes a lot of sense. And that's how you know a good house, is when they really take their time to create something and they don't just put stuff out just because they want to make money from it. So I don't know what Mistpouffer means, but it's a mystery sound that comes from the sea. Different regions call it different things. There's just so many stories about it. Look it up, read up about it. It's pretty interesting. But imagine trying to create something that's a mystery. So that's exactly what took them forever. So some of the notes in this, there's fig leaf, there's immortelle flower in here, there's like an ozonic accord, incense, which is probably going to be maybe benzoin. I'm not sure, they don't really say what incense is in here, but I'm going to guess benzoin because there's some sweet qualities in here in addition to the malt sugar. Now the note that really piqued my interest, which I actually discovered from this perfume, is immortelle flower, which seems to come off as herbaceous and sweet and slightly like tobacco-y. All of that mixed with just the airiness of the ozonic quality kind of makes me feel like I'm in an open air field surrounded by like deep woods. This actually also kind of reminds me of what is it called? The Woody Mood? Yes, Woody Mood by Olfactive Studio. And I'm not saying they smell particularly similar, but they have similar qualities where it just kind of feels like you're just out in the woods and playing around with, you know, different kinds of greenery and just elements of, you know, just being in just the natural horizon of the earth. I haven't used a lot. They come in like 30 ml bottles like these, and I've decanted a little bit of it, so I'm gonna try to save this. So next perfume I'm going to talk about is from a house that I've been hearing so many good things about. Not a lot of reviews on their other fragrances. A lot of their reviews were coming from their Vanille Havane. So now that I mentioned that, you know what I'm talking about. And this is from the house of Les Indemodables. Thanks, Eve, for the pronunciation. And this one is called Musc de Sable. So the perfumer for Musc de Sable is Antoine. And I do appreciate the level of transparency when it comes to the natural ingredients with this house. If you go to their website, they list the percentages of the raw ingredients that they use, which to me is not something that I particularly seek out, but when it's available for me to see, I do appreciate it. So I'm sure the people who care a lot about that kind of information will truly appreciate this house for that. So this is essentially like a warm and soft powdery scent, which is surprising for me because that's usually not what I'm into. However, there's just something about this that I really enjoy. Perhaps it's just the way it's done and the ingredients that's being used in here. I've smelled a lot of powdery scents, and I can tell you they don't smell like this. There's a very high level of quality which you can smell in here. There's actually also real ambergris in here tincture that's made specifically for this perfume, and there's also orris root extract that's used in here that gives it that powdery feel. However, it's not like it doesn't really particularly feel like the heavy powdery scents that I've smelled in the past. This one is a lot softer, a lot cozier, but I love how it's done here. There's an element of like old school meets like modern day powdery scent. So if that's what you're into, I definitely recommend this. This is actually another, like, one of their most underrated perfumes from the house, and I wish more people would talk about it. I only saw one person speak on this perfume when I was doing my research on it before deciding if I was going to get it or not, and I'm actually glad that I picked up this one. There's so many other really nice fragrances that the house makes, and I know their most popular one is Vanilla Havane, which is actually very nice vanilla scent, which not usually into vanilla scents, but that's one that I would consider getting for myself. But they have, I think it's Rose de Jamal, that's really, really good. Recently started getting into rose fragrances, and that's the best one I've smelled, so you can tell that's going to be on my list of things to pick up next. Next one I'm going to talk about is from the house of Lutens, and this is called Attarine. Attarine is essentially a spicy fragrance, but it's not like anything I've smelled before. I smelled a lot of spicy scents. They're actually like one of my favorite scent categories or perfume style, and I feel like every time I smell like a spicy fragrance, I just feel like there's something missing, or it's either underwhelming or just too much. This is very well done. There's a mixture of like light citruses in here and like sweet fruits, and then a ton of spices. So I know Serge has another spicy scent called Areej. So think about Areej, but more refined, a lot smoother, with everything just very well blended. And that's exactly what I get from Attarine. This is a beautiful scent. I'm looking forward to wearing more of it soon, because I haven't really put a dent in this because I've been using up my samples, but definitely check it out. I've already decanted a few because I'm trying to get everyone to like this. So hopefully Serge can cut me a check for that. So the next one I'm going to talk about is from the house of Francesca Bianchi, and this one is called Etruscan Water. This is, this is hard to say because my favorite sheep scent has always been Mitsuko. And fun fact, actually, just in case you guys didn't know, a little over half of my collection is from this year, like beginning in March. When all the lockdowns started happening, I just started exploring more perfumes. I know, strange, right? But at that point, I used a lot of designer scents. I've already also used like a lot of like mainstream popular niche fragrances like Creed and House of Mimo and some other stuff. However, I hadn't really explored like other things, like more of the indie side of things or whatever. And up until then, my favorite sheep had always been Mitsuko and Knowing, and like a lot of other like older stuff that I hadn't tried before, that I hadn't tried in a while. I've tried a lot of sheep fragrances this year, and this one definitely stands out to me. I've tried some really, really expensive ones, and I've tried some really, really inexpensive ones, and I can tell you that, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where you put your money where your mouth is, whatever. And I feel like if you're going to spend like $1,000 on Diaghilev, at least try this one out, and then, you know, tell me what you think. This one just blows my mind. It's a very classic style, sophisticated, vintage, like heavy hitter type of cheaper fragrances, and but it's so nicely done, and this stuff lasts forever. If that's one thing that a question that you have for me, all Francesca Bianchi fragrances they last a long time, and I usually can smell this on my dress, like if I don't wash it, for weeks. So that's a great fragrance to check out. Definitely a good house to check out. And I'm definitely looking forward to trying more Francesca Bianchi. I've tried a lot of her fragrances, but the only ones I haven't tried are Angel's Dust and the newest one, Tiger Tiger. Every single thing I've tried, I've really enjoyed. So there you have it. This is Areej Dore's Grandenia, and oh my God, this fragrance, it's really difficult to describe, and this one actually was the most challenging for me. Funny, right? Because I you know, my favorite purchases of 2020 aren't necessarily the ones that were easy for me to grasp, to understand, and that's why I picked this one to be on the list, because it was the most challenging for me to get. But look at this bottle. This is like insane. And the cap is nice. This is like a murder weapon. You can stab somebody with that. So I usually keep it right by my bed when I sleep at night. So if anyone breaks in, I just grab it and like. Anyway, this essentially is a very deep indolic white floral with spices and a bunch of other stuff. When you look at the ingredients, it's just insane. Also, this is an extrait de parfum. This bottle size is 30 ml, yada, yada, yada. This was launched this year, actually, back in September, I think. And I got a sample set before I purchased this. And this was the second one I liked. The other one I really liked was sold out, so I ended up getting this one. And I'm really happy I did. So there is bergamot and lemon accords from circa 1920. Olibanum absolute, those were the top notes. Hot notes, indolic gardenia accord from circa 1920. Vintage oils of cinnamon, nutmeg, and rosemary. And the base notes, saffron, fossil, amber oil from circa 1920. Indonesian dark patchouli, black ambergris, myrrh, tonka, sandal floral blend from circa 1950, Thai organic oud from a 30-year-old tree, infused with a smoke of sinking Indonesian Mali agarwood chips. If you asked me if I knew what Thai organic oud from a 30-year-old tree smells like, I'll probably say maybe I know what the 10-year-old tree smells like, but not its 30-year-old tree. But I mean, it's just one of those things, right? This is such an interesting perfume. I honestly don't really smell. I had a spray card, I was looking for it. I don't really smell any oud. I feel like the oud in here is just like to kind of like beef up the white florals. I don't think it's like their Agar de Noir or something like that. That's like very oud forward. I think it's just like a supporting actress, you know? So I don't think it's really doing much here. But if you're into indolic white florals, you have to get this. I know with a lot of like natural perfumes, there's like this whole maceration period and all of that. I'm curious to see how it changes over the years, so I'm going to keep that. And I only use one spray when I use it, and that's actually not one that I wear out because I'm not sure how people would take it. Maybe I'll try it someday when we're able to, you know, walk around with no masks on again. But those were my picks. Let me know if there's anything here that you've tried. Let me know what your favorite purchase of 2020 was. Let me know what else you'd like to see from this channel as well. And I really appreciate you watching this video, and make sure you subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.